Hello everybody and welcome, my name is Ursa and this is not the A to Z challenge because today I have a very special challenge for you. Yes, you, the audience watching this video. Can you do what I'm about to challenge you to? This is the beginning of what I'm going to call the Ursalocke challenge. Now, if you are familiar with Pokemon at all, you will know that there is a concept called Nuzlocke. It is a style of game where you play the game using a bunch of self-inflicted rules that make the game harder, and the Ursalocke is going to be a very similar sort of Civ challenge for you. Now, come along to the Discord. If you haven't joined the Ursa Discord so far, not only will you find all the Civ save files we keep, all of the games I play on the channel, I literally keep the save files there for you to put onto your computer and play, but I also keep all the mod lists I use. I often get questions, Ursa, what mods do you use? And I always say, come to Discord, because I'm too lazy to tell you. But you should come to Discord because the Ursalocke rules will be written there, and more importantly, there will be a place on the third plays, get it? We like an acronym here on the Ursa Discord. There will be a challenge, forum, collection, post, whatever you call it these days. I'm not young. I don't talk about social media. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't actually know what I had for breakfast. But there will be a place where you can submit your run and earn server points that give you roles, and it's all very exciting. So come to Discord and join in with this challenge. I am actually challenging everybody watching this video. Can you take part in this? Console players, you are invited as well, don't worry. So what is an Ursalocke? Well, just like a Nuzlocke, the game involves restrictions that will make it more difficult, because I've played with so many mods and I've played almost 4,000 hours, which is sickening to say, and I will not think about that. Let's gloss over that. Oh god. I've played so much of this game now that we've become attached to the fact that the AI can get overwhelmed by humans, and most importantly, whenever you're playing on high difficulty modes, quantity is everything you need. When you're playing domination, you can snowball. When you're playing science, having 50 campuses is better than 5 campuses. Even civs like the Mayans or Scotland that are designed to be tall tend to work better wide, just because of the way that Civ 6 works. You charge in, you abuse the AI, you go through the exploits, you get a snowball, and before you know it, Deity is no challenge. So what if we put in a set of rules that actually make an Ursalocke a difficult thing to do? What if we force ourselves to play tall and actually use mechanics in the game that we tend to gloss over because normally they're irrelevant? Well, today they will not be irrelevant, and this will be one of the biggest tests that you've had in terms of making sure that you understand Civ and that you can play well. First rule is that we start and we use that start. No reloading or restarting the game. I don't want any of this, oh, I don't like the start, let's just keep hitting reroll and see what we get. No, Ursa tells you no. Ursa says that you should play any save file given to you first time because that's how you get better, and that's part of the Ursalocke. We're also going to be using what I like to call a hardcore set of rules, which is basically no reloading. So you can save the game as you go along because hey, things like needing the toilet happen, and families, am I right? You do have to stop the game every now and then, but you are not allowed to reload saves or auto saves. Once you begin to play through the game, everything that sticks must stick. You miss out on that great general? Tough. Your units die? Tough. You have to just keep going and play the game in one go. More importantly, only play a game once. No go back to the same game. Play something different. Challenge yourself to a new Ursalocke. It's fun. I'm also saying that you should play with no gameplay changing mods. That is the official Ursalocke category. Obviously, if you want to play with game changing mods, like we've obviously played with Civ Expanded, City Lights is another big one I've seen people play with. What was the other one? UC we played with recently. There are lots of different things you can play with modded societies. I'm not going to stop you from doing that, but if you want to challenge yourself to the Ursalocke, you have to make sure you're playing with no gameplay changing mods. If you're playing on PC, you can use user interface or graphic changing mods. That's fine as long as they don't change the game. In terms of setting up the game, really the rules are kind of as you want to play them, but I would put this as a traditional Ursalocke. I think you should set the difficulty to Deity, you should set to Ancient Era, Standard Speed, and leave everything else alone apart from moving the game to Shuffle. Now Shuffle doesn't give you all maps, there are only a few maps it can give you. I think Pangea, Fractal, Continents, it's going to pick something like that. But not knowing what you get is kind of half the challenge really. Keep it on 6 players, keep it on a small map, keep everything set the same, and do not use any game modes. That is a traditional Ursalocke. And again, don't worry, come to Discord, I have a written list of all of these rules so you can play along without having to listen back to this video repeatedly and, you know, trying to work out what I'm saying. It's all written down. Now, when it comes to me and this particular game, what I would suggest is that you play with random leader so that you get a nice variation. I'm going to be picking random leader pool 1, and I'm going to be going into this, and I'm going to be deactivating a couple of leaders. Gran Colombia, Georgia, and Briarix with Gaul, all of France and all of England as well. Basically, you don't have to do this, and I would suggest that you keep everyone as an option. Germany was the other one I was going to take out. For me, I'm running an A to Z challenge at the same time, and what I didn't want to do was pick a random leader and get somebody I've just played on the A to Z challenge. I want to give you someone a little bit different, so I'm going to play with a custom pool of 52, but I would suggest you play with random leader. And we're going to dive into the game, and as we start to play, I will teach you the other rules of the Ursalocke. Those were all the rules to do with how to play the game generally and how to set the game up. What I'm going to be showing you is then the specific rules as to how we are going to actually be taking on this game, because we are going to be focusing on playing tall, on using cities in a specialist way, on making sure that we're using all of the mechanics properly, and we're going to be doing it apparently as Vietnam. Interesting, and actually really handy, because Vietnam, this episode is sponsored by the letter V. V is at the end of the alphabet, and that means that I'm not going to be tripping up over myself, so that's really cool. Vietnam, beautiful. Look at that star. Oh, no fresh water, but I do have a Plains Hill. Lovely. These are the details for the game that we've loaded, by the way, but as I say, I'll put the save file for this game in Discord. Come and get it. So how do you play an Ursalocke other than just a generic game of Deity? Well, it's all to do with how we restrict ourselves. Firstly, we are not allowed to use any exploit or game-breaking mechanism that is known to the Civ community. If you're not sure whether something is a gameplay feature or an exploit, you're on the side of whatever makes you feel better. For me, I'm not going to be doing anything that involves diplomatic favor trading and exploiting that way, so buying favor from the beginning of the game at 0 value and selling it. Although I do believe selling diplomatic favor that you've earned yourself is, you know, generally a fair thing. It is a resource after all. No declaring joint wars apart from if they are at a flat 0 cost or you're paying money for them. There are a lot of joint war exploits where you can claim tons of money from declaring them. We're not doing that. Strategic resource deals is a good example. If you're playing on any mode of the AI, you can buy and sell strategics at crazy price differences and make loads of money that way. We're not going to be doing that. And I believe they've now patched all of the city transaction exploits you used to be able to do with declaring peace and claiming cities from people. We're not going to be doing that either. And where does the Nuzlocke bit? Well, Nuzlocks with Pokemon were often the situation where if a Pokemon dies, you lose it. That's fine. That's not something we can really replicate in Civ very much. But what they did do was limit the amount of Pokemon you could have. And that's what we're going to be doing. When we settle, we are currently in the Ancient Era. I can settle my capital, and from then onwards, including the Ancient Era, I may have 1 extra city. So in the Ancient Era, I will have 2 cities maximum. In the Classical Era, 3 cities. Medieval, 4 cities. Renaissance Era, 5 cities, and so on. I can only settle 1 extra city every era, so starting with capital plus 1 city in the Ancient Era. Now, this is going to massively restrict me in terms of what and where I can settle. I'm going to have so few cities. I need to make sure that my cities are well scouted, well positioned, and well improved. If you do not use city allocation in the era that's given to you, so for instance, if I end the Ancient Era and I have 1 city, that is lost. You lose that allocation, so you have to be settling through the game. Now, let's say you want to go for domination victories. Domination is one of the style of victories. If you take over a city, that counts towards your allocation. So, if I take over a city in the Ancient Era, I cannot settle a city. You are limited on how many cities that you can basically take, or more specifically, how many you can keep. If, for instance, I settle my capital and then I go to war with the AI, I am required to raise every city that does not fit into my allocation. If I want to go for a domination victory, for instance, I need to make sure that I do not settle my city in that era, and I would have to kill and raise every other city the AI has in order to then keep their capital. That lock on how many cities you can have as you progress through the games is strict. Occupied cities that you hold during a war also count towards this limit. So wars are going to be incredibly hard fought, incredibly brutal, and you're going to have to raise way more cities than you would normally do. This feels much more like a multiplayer game than a game of single player. It also means we're going to be doing a lot more pillaging, because if you know you're not going to keep a city, you need to just wipe everything off the face of the earth. It also means as well, if I was going domination and, you know, I'm tempted to go, I don't know if we will. I think what we probably will do is we'll probably play this as a peaceful game, maybe. I don't know. And maybe we'll try a second time as a domination, or maybe this one would be domination and I'll try peaceful. I don't know. We'll see how the map looks. I don't want to commit either way at this stage. But if I was going domination, I would have to take 5 cities. Now, that means I have to use 5 eras to take that. So if I had 1 in the ancient era to get to 2 cities, I took 1 in classical, 1 in medieval, 1 in renaissance, 1 in the industrial. I can't win until at the earliest the game is in the industrial era. Say I don't take a city until the medieval era, well, suddenly it's not industrial, it's going to modern and then atomic. This game is going to force you later and later into the game. And if you get all the way to the future era, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In order to start domination, I must take a capital by the industrial era. If I fail to do that, I will not have enough time left in the game. And the problem is as well, is if I wait to the future era, well, the AI is probably won by that point. So where your cities are, how you're using them, what you put in them is going to be incredibly important. Incredibly important. Welcome to the Ursalocke. I honestly think this is going to be really, really fun. As I say, have a go at this yourself. Come to Discord and show me what you've got, and I will award you XP and send you congratulations from the Bear Throne. It's a place that is basically just a chair in my office that typically is covered in small pieces of crisp and pastry and everything that I'm normally stuffing my face with when I'm filming. But that was far too long an intro, and we're going to just dive into the game now. Vietnam are very defensive. They can be quite aggressive, but they normally excel in defensive warfare. +5 combat strength for any unit fighting in rainforest, marsh, or woods, basically any of the features. +1 movement if they begin their turn there, and both of those units' yields are doubled if they are in my territory. That's what I mean about the defensive thing. It also, because I've got my unique encampment, now this does not count as a specialty district, and every city can build one. It does not provide great people points, but it does give you 2 extra culture for every adjacent district. They're really, really good, and actually they're fantastic at generating tourism. Generating that sort of culture is going to be really, really important for us, because if I did want to go for a culture victory, we're going to be incredibly limited on how many cities we can have this game, and all of the additional tourism helps massively. 9 Dragon River Delta means that specialist districts can only be built on rainforest, marsh, and woods, and I get extra yields for the buildings in those districts depending on what they are sat in. Culture for woods, science for rainforest, and production in marsh. I've got a lot of wood and rainforest around me, so culture and science is looking pretty good already. And I also have an elephant crossbow, which as a sentence is possibly one of the joyous things I've said all day. An elephant crossbow. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And looking at this start, suddenly you'll start to see that, well, we're going to be really limited on how many cities we can settle, and I've got to be super careful about where I do settle. There's fresh water to my south, and I'm thinking I probably want to end up going to have a look at it. I'm just going to move to there, and you'll see, is this a lake? That is a lake. Okay, so we've got lake below us, we have the sea above us. What I'm going to do is make use of the fact that my settler has a lovely +1 movement because it's stood in rainforest at the moment, and I'm going to settle on top of the Mercury. Now, as good as it would be to settle here and give myself a +1 production from settling on top of the hill, if I settle on the Mercury, I get +1 science, and that helps my early game nicely. It gives me an amenity I can sell for gold, which helps me to get infrastructure out quicker. Generally speaking, it's a pretty good deal for me, and I'm tempted to go and do that. So you know what, I will. I also want to come away from the coast. I'm going to have very few cities, so what I want to do is make sure that each of my cities and the 3 tiles around it have as much land as possible. Ideally, every single one of my cities should be 15 to 20 population, higher if possible, especially my Pingala city, which is likely to be my capital. So I want to put down a lot of districts. I mean, don't forget, I get all of my regular districts and then an extra one because every city should have that encampment in them. Oh, I forgot to mention woods can be planted with medieval fairs. Medieval fairs is not actually that far into the game, and being able to plant woods earlier basically means that I can start putting districts down to give myself extra culture, and it means I can put districts districts around wherever I want, because you have to put them on the features. Vietnam is really weird, and I just haven't played them anywhere near enough. But look at all this extra land I have in this direction. In fact, actually, if we look at the settle lens, you'll see that the coast may be here, but just by moving further south, I've unlocked all of these tiles into my empire. And yeah, I feel good about settling a little bit further down. There's the extra science I'm getting. I have a lovely 1-3 tile, but more importantly, I do have 1-2 banana tiles right on the edge of my land that I can work towards getting. I'm going to rename my cities, by the way, just to show you that I'm counting them as we go through. So as I build cities, I'll name them Ancient Era, Classical Era, blah, 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 basically to show you what I'm doing, so, you know, so you can feel like you're joining in. But looking at this, now we've got to ask ourselves the question, religion? And that is a question, of course. Religion? Question mark, exclamation mark. Do we go astrology? We have +1 science beginning of the game. That means we do have 5 turns off the holy site. I'm just going to keep a look at the appeal lens. It might be that I can find a wonder. I think we've got quite an islandy map. I might be wrong, but it feels that way anyway. I'm going to gamble by going for a scout early doors, and I think I'm gonna just go for a scout rush and see if I can get the production up, find a couple of tribal huts and go for the monument to expand my capital's borders a bit, because I want to get these bananas as soon as possible. And if I can get this tile, which I'm hoping should get bought probably 1, 2, 3 on the 4th tile, hopefully, then I can buy these tiles for a little bit cheaper. So that's looking pretty good for me. Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad about this start, actually. That's not bad at all. Looks like there is a bunch of marshland to my left, including some mountains. So maybe this island is a little bigger than I first feared. Again, I'm just keeping an eye on the settle lens. What we're going to do is just make sure that if anybody does exist, we'll find them quickly. Oh, for a second, I thought that was someone's borders. I was like, no, 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 no. Don't be so close. Yeah, looks like the land goes on, luckily, a little more than I had feared at the beginning. So I'm going to maybe... Do we go for another scout, or do I go straight for the monument? I'm going to gamble on going for 1 more scout. Whether that's a good idea or not, I'm not sure. But if it's just getting a couple of tribal villages can often massively help. Ethiopia. Ethiopia is my neighbor, and they're right down there. Oh, that's a little close to me. That's a little close to me. Okay, maybe then. Maybe we will have to just be a little careful about how we play this. Now, I could have sent them a delegation. I chose not to. I think that I'd rather keep my gold at this stage. I can sell the mercury, but it wasn't for huge amounts, and until Ethiopia decides they want to buy things for like a decent price, they're not getting it, you know? Astrology is now within boosting range. I'm going to switch to get something that's a little more useful. I feel like growth in my capital has got to be important. I do have mining that I could now go and work, so let's go get that for another luxury. Again, I'm just keeping an eye out. Look, that's already 4 gold. If I can get that maybe up to 6 or 8, then I'll sell it to Ethiopia. And just for a small defensive force, I am going to build a slinger in my capital just to round out this to 2 population. You can see, look, I'm getting another little bit of culture from the amber on that tile. That is a lovely thing. Mitla, I'm first to find them. +1 science in my capital. That is a nice thing. We enjoy that a lot. I'm just sort of sending my warrior up to that direction as my scout heads in another direction, India. Okay, so it looks like this continent is a little bit more crammed than we had first hoped. Never mind. Code of laws. People getting pantheons yet? Oh yeah, people are getting loads of faith per turn. And actually having Ethiopia and Vietnam, and India in the game, it means we're probably likely to have quite a bit of religion competition. So maybe actually going for astrology could have been a bad gamble, but you know what? These things are a gamble. That's the whole point of the Ursalocke, you know? We're just playing this as we go along and having some fun as we're doing it. Craftsmanship will get that boost for a second, and my scout hasn't really found anything to the north. There was totally... I wanted to double check there was no land above me. There was no land above me, so that's fine. So yeah, God King, and I haven't got a barb problem at the moment, so we'll go survey to hopefully give my scouter a bit of a chance to get a little bit more experience, but we'll see. I'm just going to go and scout this land above me. As I said, I haven't found a single tribal hut yet, so in terms of my scout gambling, not much luck. There we go. Look, India will buy my luxury for 82 gold and 4 gold per turn. That's the sort of deal we want. It was just putting me on +2 immunities. I didn't really care for it. Now I can save up that gold, and we could, yeah, potentially even rush a settler by purchasing it, or use the gold to get like a builder. I'm not sure at the moment. We'll see how we feel towards the time. Now, as I say, my slingers and my warriors, I should have a pretty good and easy defensive perimeter to hold in this city, so I'm not too worried about it. But we are going to have to keep an eye on the AI. They are a little bit sneaky, and I don't trust them not to rush us early game. Tech-wise, I've got mining. Bronze working obviously gives me my unique district. Now, this is +2 culture from every adjacent district tile. That is really, really cool. I'm just thinking in terms of where I put things, actually, and I've got options here. I could, in theory, put an aqueduct down on this tile, and I could canal later in the game onto that to give myself an industrial zone of +5 later. It's a little bit convoluted, but it's a way of getting my capital connected to the open sea. I'm thinking as well about theatre squares, entertainment complexes, making sure that I've got lots of good culture. That could be a good thing to focus on. I think I'll unlock pottery because I might want to rush a campus out just to keep my science relevant early game as well. Really, I think most districts I could use. I'm going to build the settler and then buy in a builder with my gold in a couple of turns. That will help a lot. What I'm going to do is I might end up getting my monument first. I think the monument's probably going to be better for me, and then I can start expanding my borders. I need to get some food into my empire. Food is a little bit of an issue. That is a tribal hut. Goodness me. That is the first and only tribal hut we've found so far. That's mad. What's in it? Experience. Okay, fine. Well, that's not very fun, but we'll take it. A delegation from Ethiopia. That's good for gold, and hopefully it means that they are more tempted to be a little bit friendlier to our cause. I don't actually know if that's likely at all, but yeah, we'll hope that it is. Looks like we might be on a very cold map. Look how far the poles come up from the south side of this map. So yeah, I think we should hopefully get a couple of tribal villages down there. Normally, vast tundra expanses are very good places for me to find all of the tribal huts. That's what we're hoping anyway. And there we go, monument comes in there. I'm gonna just switch to foreign trade briefly. Next stop for me is to get a builder up. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I was really hoping I'd be able to find a builder from a tribal hut. Looks like the land goes very far to the north, so we might actually have a bit more space up to the north than I had feared. I'm gonna send my other scout in that direction. Let's get writing finished as well. I don't think I've really got a huge amount in the way of good spots for campuses at all, but I do have a lot of rainforest, so I can probably make sure that we get at least a couple of decent spots. No reefs around me, unfortunately. No mountains, so I'm going to be having to use rainforest adjacency. I could put a campus down there for a +1, and I could, in theory, for instance, put government plaza down there. Oh no, does that count as a specialty district? This is where it gets a little bit confusing. It says specialty district, but maybe it's everything. Yeah, it is. So that's not an option. That's fine. Maybe then instead, if I put it on this tile, then I could, in theory, put my encampment down somewhere else. Yeah, look, the encampment, right, this is where it gets confusing. The encampment is not a special district. It says that specifically in the stats. So that's fine, but that could be a +2 already. I could put the government plaza on that tile, then I could, in theory, put my unique district down there. That's looking better. Or I could put my unique district down there, put a harbour down on that tile. That would be +3. That's getting to +6 already. That's looking a little bit nicer. I mean, I've got some more options for tiles around this one as I'm making them. I think that's probably not a bad early game mix for me. Yeah, there are definitely better ways of doing this, but at the moment, I just don't have the luxury of being able to plan too far ahead because this game could go a bit mad very quickly. Scythia. Scythia is on the spit of land to the north. Okay, So we're on almost a Pangaea. I don't think it was a deliberate Pangaea, but it's almost a Pangaea. -7 again. Nobody really likes me this game. A lot of just anxious looks and despairing opinions of me. Most interestingly so far, we haven't found another continent. This is all just one continent, and that's annoying because foreign trade, I really wanted to boost that. Now, this is a problem. That is a city that is way too close to me, and that is going to massively impact into where my cities are going to be, where I was planning on expanding. I don't like that at all. I really do not like that location. What I was thinking was sort of going maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like over here somewhere, maybe even on this wood tile, like there. That's sort of what I was thinking in terms of location to settle, and that was mainly because I was thinking about doing, like, you could go canal, and then you could go industrial zone later into the game once I put a feature down on that, and maybe even aqueducting on this tile. Like, that would be pretty fun, right? But this city's way too close, so what I'm probably going to end up doing is probably taking this city as a target, a potential target maybe, and having this one as a destructive target to blow that one up. Actually, let's give it a much more like there you go, like explosion. Yeah, we'll have to raise that city in order to give myself some space on this one. Like, it's not very fun, but... And they're going to tell me if... Oh, there's... Actually, I've just realised there is a Barb encampment there as well. That's not helpful. Very annoying. Very annoying. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I think we are good. I'm going to just get a settler in. Sorry, a builder in quickly. Let's just have to force work craftsmanship. I kind of, again, was hoping I'd find a tribal hut by now in order to get myself a builder, but it's not. That is a little bit of luck, though. They have left a Barb encampment. This is why I leave scouts just outside them every now and then. They've actually left that on 0 health, and military tradition has boosted. That was my second Barb kill. I am counting. The bronze working boost is only 1 away, so that's quite handy. Oh, this is a bit of problem. I really didn't want to have to fight that many troops that early on. Okay. Ethiopia are being chill enough at the moment. Like, not super chill, but chill enough. How long would it take? 7 turns to get round. I might just have to risk this just a little bit. Come on, scout. Get lost. I'm going to move my settler to this tile and just risk it. All the while, whilst I work on animal husbandry, I want the scout to back off. If the scout backs off, we're onto a win. Look, there's actually, look, there we go. The scout actually attacked my other scout, so bam, bronze working boosted. That is really handy. Okay, we like that a lot. But yeah, I need you to back off and I need you not to come out. Oh, it came out. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. And suddenly we're in a bit of a pickle. I don't think the spearman is going to run away that far to come and get me, but I'm gonna have to just work a warrior now just in case. We could have just mucked that up massively. That could be a bit of a mess. Is that a natural wonder? Oh yeah, there's a natural wonder here. I just walked straight past it, so that is the astrology boost if we were gonna go for a holy side. For Vietnam, weirdly, I take ranger over alpine. Having troops that can move through woods and rainforest better actually means that my scouts end up going further because of a movement bonus. Oh yeah, no, they did it. They came 2 tiles out to come and steal my settler. Oh, what a nuisance. Right, never mind. We've got my units coming back, but that's just a pain. How much gold? I can buy a warrior or a slinger in a couple turns. We'll get it back, but this is just a delay. This is a delay rather than a game write-off. What am I like? The discipline. Let's do that. Give myself a little bit more combat bonus, and I need to take that scout out quickly, so I'll get my scout to take it on. Johannesburg. That is a barbarian horseman. Oh no, that's a bit nasty. Where's the horse? I haven't found the horse yet, have I? The horse is about to appear. Okay, right, you hide back in there, and I think I'm gonna, yes, I think a warrior is the only thing that's gonna be tough enough here to actually get me through what I need to do. So that's pretty brutal. There's the Deity and the astrology tech. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look how much danger there is there. Oh no, those barbarian horsemen are everywhere. Right, we're going to have to do this. And the problem I've got as well is my capital's now losing loyalty because of the forward settle from Ethiopia there. Oh man, okay. This is what happens when you send your warrior out too far. I can now actually afford a warrior of my own, so we're going to have to do that. 2 warriors, we're just going to have to play this really, really well. There's a Barb horseman archer on top of that. Eek. That's no fun. Can I get get open borders. Oh, they're going to make me pay through the nose for open borders. I really don't like that. Might have to pay that in a second, but I'm going to see if I can get my scouts round Ethiopia's lands in order to get through here. Now, this is the thing. Don't forget, when defending or fighting on rainforest or marsh, I get +5. So we can use the terrain to our advantage. I do have +5 against the Barbs anyway. All I need to do is just try and steal my settler back. That's all I kind of need to do here. And actually, look, my scouts are holding firm. I'm going to hit a Dark Age, unfortunately, which is not handy in the slightest. But already I can go 1, 2, like that. I'm now within 1 tile of my settler. Yeah, this is going to be a tough ask. But if I can get Battle Cry in one of my warriors, I feel like I'm going to have a little bit more. And you're not going to... Note, they're not retreating to the Barb encampment. That is a good thing as well. Which means I can go 1 attack, 2 attacks, steal the settler back. Okay, now, can I press the advantage? My scouts can't get round, but as I say, this unit is exposed right now. That is too exposed for me. They ran in the other direction. That's interesting. Ancient Era, by the way, ends in 8 turns. I have to settle within 8 turns. Otherwise, I lose the city. Or I lose the capacity anyway. These are the Ursalocke rules. Oh man, they're difficult. Pantheon, by the way. Sacred Path would give me faith from adjacency on rainforest. I have a lot of rainforest around me, and that is really kind of a tempting thing. 3 builder in my capital giving me city growth would help massively, seeing as I am really struggling on city growth at the moment. But also, Lady of the Reeds and Marshes helps me with these marsh tiles. The problem I've got is I'm likely to build over the top of them quite quickly. Nobody's going for the Scientist just yet, so maybe I could go for Divine Spark and hope I get some Scientist points. That could be one option for me here. This is all hypothetical. I need something that helps me right now. I'm going to go for Fertility Rights. I know that I'm already getting a builder. I know that I'm getting a builder, so it is a double up effectively, but I need the economy, and by being able to improve some of these luxuries, I think I'm actually going to be able to get a bit of a revenue up to actually do some stuff here. Let's just keep moving forward. I need to settle in this place. It's -20 now. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Luckily, I'm about to get a governor in a second, and that will help massively, but that is not good at all. Right, Barb encampment dealt with, and we're not going to go into a Dark Age, and suddenly, look, already this settler looks a little happier. Yeah, population 2 on the old capital there, that helps. It's happy now. I've got a little bit more population pressure. Our scouts are just holding firm for a moment, which is good. I've got 2 rangers. My scouts are literally running through to attempt to save the day here. Let's go 1 attack, 2 attacks like that. How many turns have I got left? 6 turns. I have enough time to battle cry to keep that unit safe, to move this one forwards, to pin this one in. I can use my mine to get the luxury. I think I might need to keep the luxury for the immunity bonus that it gives me, but I can sell it. Let's just remember that. And oh, I can actually buy Mercury, which is the one I'm settled on. Again, I'm just going to hold on to these facts because these facts are quite handy, and I might just improve this tile to get the irrigation bonus. That wheat is looking pretty tasty. And yeah, campus, let's just get that up quickly. Settler in, and we'll go bam. I think the best thing for me to do now is just flatten Barbarian, move you back, move you back. Oh, if we somehow survive this start, my word, jammy will not be sufficient enough to describe what we have been doing. Oh my lord. Barb's still at us. It still wants another piece, but I mean, tough to you. Oh yeah, the loyalty on this city is pretty brutal, but the luxury will flood in there very soon, and that'll make it happy. That'll give it 3 more. Oh, it'll only be on -13. That is, ugh. But it's where I wanted it to be. So we're going to call this Ancient City. I settled this one in the Ancient Era. Next era, I can settle 1 more. That'll be a good thing. I'm 6 turns away from a governor. Governors will help a lot. I just need a population rush now. I need to get this up as quickly as possible. I do have bronze working almost. I could chop down a single rainforest in order to give me a bit more population. Do I do it in the capital and get it to press on that city? Maybe. Oh, I don't like getting rid of rainforest, but this actually might be something I need to do to the population pressure here. I don't actually know what the correct solution revolution is. So it's settled a little bit. That's now -10. -10 is good. And as I go into the new age, I'll get a bit of a culture boost towards state workforce. That will help to get the governor in really quickly. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to just put some population pressure on it, and I'm going to have to chop down a rainforest. I hate doing this, and I can't do that one. Oh, I just realized, because that's the one giving my campus adjacency. Okay, so what do I do? What do I do? Irrigation, chop bananas, chop this tile down? Is that going to be the best thing for me? Or do I just... Oh, Lord, I love it when you've got this little land and you really have to make these decisions. This is good. I'm going to chop this rainforest down. This one is less important to me. I can always put woods back in later. It's going to give me 16 food. How much do I need to grow? 17. This means I think the city will grow next turn. We can actually rush the campus through a little bit. I'll get this builder up there to actually maybe go and chop something down in the ancient city as well. Ethiopia has choral music. Oh, I needed you to have feed the world, my friend. That was the wrong religion. Wrong religion, but never mind. Yep, 3 population. And look at that. Look at that. That's stabilized massively already. And ancient city, it's got +1 immunity at the moment. I could, in theory, buy some salt from Ethiopia for some gold per turn, just in case they do declare on me. I could give them the gold per turn rather than that, but and then I could actually see if I could sell some of my luxuries for what. Yeah, India is really wanting to buy at the moment. This is quite handy. You're gonna give me some... Oh, I could do a good trade with them. Yeah, actually what I'm gonna do, watch this. I'm gonna sell the mercury to India. If I just ask for maybe 1 diplomatic favor on top of that, then I can actually go and buy back the mercury from Scythia, and then I can buy the salt from Ethiopia. I'm going to actually go for gold per turn from Ethiopia, but now I've got +2 and +3 in my capital. +3 in my capital is much better. This gives me wiggle room. This gives me plenty of wiggle room. Well, we'll see what the situation stabilizes into. The big thing for me is whether or not Ethiopia's in a golden age. They are in a golden age. Okay, so that means the loyalty pressure from their cities is going to be even worse. As you can see, it is even worse. It's -12 now. Okay dokie. Well, in order to get that higher, I'm going to actually have to put Victor in place. Now, Victor means that I can put +4 loyalty per turn towards civilization in other cities, as well as getting the +7 in that city. So I can create something that's a little bit messy in a second, but I'll get in Victor to start with. I'll put him in this city, then I will get Pingala, put it in my capital, and then I'll get the second promotion in Victor and switch them. It's a bit weird, I know, but it will work if I need to stabilize in such a way. I need Ursalocke, I need a golden age as soon as I can. I think going 3 inquiry is going to be better because I'm going to get lots more Eurekas, because early game Eurekas are really easy to farm, but I could get myself district because I'm still building a load of districts, so that would be a good one as well. I think for inquiry, let's do that. Let's do that. So irrigation is also boosted now, which is a delight. And as I mentioned, I'm going to have to do an emergency chop in Ancient City. It feels rough doing that, but I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to go masonry to put walls up. There is stone for me to rush, so I'm going to do that in a second. I need to get that up and running as quick as I can. God King I no longer need. Urban planning is good, and I'd quite like a Gogi just in case I need to raise an army super quick. Barbs, not the issue at the moment. Ethiopia, very much the issue at the moment. I've also just bought this banana tile for myself, again, to hopefully give myself a little bit more growth in my capital. I need that to be growing as fast as possible. First campus has been put down. Brilliant. Now I can put my unique district down in a second, which would be good, and I'm saving up on food to get myself the extra population to get that city down. Oh, look at that. Whoa. Suddenly I'm loyal. Suddenly I'm loyal. Now, do I risk leaving this? Because at the moment, I mean, Ethiopia have a 3 food tile in and a worked tile by their capital. Population is likely only to spiral. So do I want to risk that? Or do I just chop to get 1 more out? I mean, I'm going to put an aqueduct down on that tile. I think that will remove the marsh. So you know what? I'm actually going to do that. This feels rough because I don't like removing marshes as Vietnam. But if I don't do this, the population is going to forever be a pressure. And I need that back to full loyalty as soon as possible. My capital is also going to slinger spam. I'm not going to sit on my laurels here at all. I don't trust Ethiopia. And I do want to consider actually taking them out if I can. If they're ever too weak, or if I can get a good joint war with Gandhi, for instance, it could be a good tactic for me. I mean, yeah, it's all possibility. I didn't actually look for iron. How was my iron situation? Have I got a swordsman rush? One result over there. No. That is not a rush that I like. What about a horse rush? Better. This is probably the only source of horses I can get access to, but if I go and settle over here, I could get 2 sources, roughly. But a spearman rush into a pikeman rush, now that is something that's a little better. I'm going to just gamble on going full offense here. I'm going to go currency, mathematics, military tactics, and I'm actually going to get myself a single spearman to begin this rush with. If I can get a kill with the spearman, that will give me a lot more power. Like, this is a risky play, but I think we might be able to just about pull this off. Military tradition before I forget, so that I can get some flanking bonuses. As I said, I don't trust Ethiopia not to attack me. Luckily, neither of my cities is on the coast right now, so that's looking good. There's the masonry boost, by the way. Yay! Walls. I feel like walls are going to be more needed than we would like them to be in this particular run. Oh, never mind. So with military tradition, we now have flanking bonuses, and that helps massively, but I want to put Strategos in, and to do that, I need a government. Early Empire, it is. Lovely stuff. I've just about authorited this tile as well, so that is the horses stolen into my empire. I did not want Ethiopia to pick those up. That would have been a danger zone had we got that, but it's all good. It's all good. We managed to pick it up. So with masonry, we now have the ability to get a battering ram up, which is a good thing because I just feel like we're going to need one of those. I'm going to pick archery up as well. I'm producing a few slingers. If I can get 2 or 3 archers out, that will help just to keep the Ethiopian army at bay. How's the relationship? India actually is at war with Ethiopia, and I could join in on this war. They don't want me in on it because they're they think I'm weak, but I don't really need much. I just kind of want to seize this. I mean, the thing is, I could seize this city as my classical era city if I wanted to. It means I wouldn't have to build one myself, but then it would be occupied and we would have problems like that. It's really the capital. That's what I want. If I could push down and take the capital, that would be an amazing pickup for me. But yeah, it's going to be tough considering I've got 3 warriors and a spearman. Like, that's not an overwhelmingly strong army. It's just about where Ethiopia's army is. I need visibility. Let's just go and have a quick look. If I can get my scout in and just have a little peek, I might be able to just Mekele strike in. Actually, this is the thing. And maybe if I could call Scythia in as well, we could get a world alliance against Ethiopia. Now that would be relatively entertaining. In fact, there's a builder with 2 charges that's just appeared on the border. What am I getting from them? 3 gold per turn, but I would get my resource back. I'm doing it. I'm going for a surprise war. Yes, loyalty is its own reward. Don't worry. Look, neither leader liked me doing that, but India's already at war with them. So, I mean, you really have no leg to stand on here. Okay, unfortunately, Scythia's not going to get involved. That was me buying the luxury, I've just realized, rather than me selling it. But that's okay because both my cities are still classed as being happy. In fact, I could still sell this, which I might do once we get archery. But first of all, in comes my scout. My scout is going to be a good recon, and as you can see, it looks like no one's home at the moment. So we're gonna pounce. In we strike immediately using my units. Even my scouts are going to come in here. I'm really not going to do a huge amount of damage, but if we can just siege the city briefly, not siege, because unfortunately it does have water, so I'm not going to be able to formally siege it, but we might be able to just strike it enough times to get ourselves a little thing. Now, it depends on what they do with their gold. They've got 300 gold. I'm hoping they don't buy a unit in. They built a builder with that gold. That is the worst thing they could have done. Okay, that's awesome. Oh look, India's actually being attacked. So that's where Ethiopia's army is. We really have caught them totally by surprise here. So let's just keep moving our units in. You can see I've got all these units around now and a builder that I'm actually going to just run out and see if we can take those horses. And because they've put a builder in their city, luckily for me, I'll be able to actually very kindly have a nice 3-charge builder as soon as we're done. I'm going to pillage for a bit of extra faith. You never know when faith is going to come in handy. And we can also take 2 off the strength of the city while we're doing this as well. The builder has gone into the lake. Okay. Why they would do that, I'm not entirely sure, but they did. Fine. Ethiopia's got 300 military strength. I'm just expecting a counterattack anytime soon. There is the holy site pillaged. The strength has gone down by 2. That means we can now start to charge in. And I'm going to do it using my rear guard first. 1 attack, 2 attacks, 3 attacks, spearmen in. With the more powerful attack towards the end. We've got it half dead. I think we should be able to take it next turn. Fingers crossed. Or they just lost 130 military strength. What are they doing? Did they have a levied city-state and did that get taken over briefly? Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. Something's weird with Ethiopia right now. They're not particularly happy. How much of their population? 17 pop, and I can only see 3, 7, 9, 11 of it. Oh, man. Oh, dear. Can I... Oh, I actually have no idea if I'm going to be able to hold on to their capital city or not. Let's just quickly, can I buy this tile? Yes, I can. That's 17. Now that is a rainforest. Rainforests give me science, the buildings in them. And I'm going to just quickly get the government plaza. That will give me a governor. That will be very handy. I do have a governor already. So what was I going to do? I was going to put Pingala on the capital city like so. That'll give me a bit more science. And then once I get 1 more promotion, we should be able to run through. There's political philosophy. Okay, it's all very complicated, but so far I'm happy this is going well for us. I think it's going to be decided as to whether or not I'd be able to even hold on to this city. 1, 2, we'll go 3 like that, and then my spearman comes in and gets the kill, which gives me the boost. Military tactics. Lovely. And if I keep the city, minus 4.5. So, yes, I can keep it. Am I going to keep it? Well, I've already just pressed the keep button, haven't I? That was a bit of a mistake. Well, that decides it for me. That is my classical era city. It's a little closer than I would want, but it actually means I haven't got to waste time building a settler. Let's call it classical city that you can see going forward. India's making a religion. Buddhism, somebody's made. This is a holy site, so I can use that later into the game if I want to. And my scouts are just going to go and have a little patrol into Ethiopia. If we can go and steal and pillage, that'll be very nice for us indeed. And I'm going to move my trader into classical city and send it back to capital. That will give me the most food in the city that needs the loyalty bonus, and this can now be used as a staging hub. So we've got to wait at least 30 turns before we can get another city now, so we may be waiting some time. Actually, classical could put a campus down on that rainforest next to a government plaza. So look, already we have some ideas, actually. This is not the worst idea. And finally, a very special shout out goes to Glorious Petra, Salty Tech, Matthew Wilkinson, Paul Coffey, Doughboy91, Sean Crites, Morag, Scott Stratton, Major King Kong, Davalex, Skeptical Bear, Kroger Brand Trail Mix, Alex Noob, Cinnamon Beard, Portland, Petra Ryan, Matthew Hatch, Amir EC, Henry, Rom88, Radiatore, Private Selection, Genoa Salami, Boy Zorro, Callum Billy. Thank you for all of your support and everybody that supports the channel generally. You're all brilliant. Thank you!